Now, but Jacob Elliott, your late model stock pole sitter, will start from second. Starting third and fourth, you'll find Steve Singer and Kevin McCann in the 33 car looking to try and upset his brother and be the top brother today.
Canadian Tire.
And it's interesting.
I'm not really fast here.
These guys are starting in just about
There's only 8 cars.
Almost of the points. Granted,
And I'm going to see if I can do a fuel strategy.
A little bit. Elliott has the
If you go all out, you're 2 stops,
Singer and
but
McCann are kind of right near each other.
I know the number I need to hit, so I'm going to see if I can hit it.
As in row number 3, it's Jason Nethery and Patrick Piper in the 38 car. Starting from
No, I'll just have to take back off and go back on the
points leader. Starting back
2-stop
a little ways.
strategy.
He's got a lot of work to do in this race. That's 6 cars he's got to go past. Not going to be easy. 5 cars, I suppose. 5 cars in class. He's got to go past. That will not be easy as Sean Roberts starts to his left side technically by qualifying. But Sean Roberts, a super late model, is opting to start from the pit lane with some pedal issues. Leonardo Elijah and Mark Truxell will complete our field this evening back in row number 5. A tight field for sure.
This looks like a full pace lap, doesn't it?
The entire Motorsport Park. It looks like Jacob Elliott taking a little bit of extra time to get that car ready before joining the grid, as he is the lone car missing to this point. And
it's going to hurt my fuel strategy here.
That win penalty, which forces him to.
I just don't think he can do it. I'm just going to burn the fuel.
That does change things.
I know. I saw it was only 14 or 15 laps during qualifying.
Makes Kevin McCann your pole sitter, and puts now the 38 of Patrick Piper alongside Steve Singer, which is only going to make.
I might change my mind and not go for the fuel strat.
There are a couple of new looks out there in the field. We've already seen one of them. We'll take a look here again at Steve Singer's number.
Because I think to be able to pull it off,
Kendall,
I'd have to be real slow each lap time.
Starting order, you'll find Patrick Piper, a new paint.
So I'll lose the pack.
Oldsmobile. To change things up a little bit, get away from the.
But then again, I should know off that first lap.
It was very, very similar to
if I can do it or not.
Car, who's starting right in front of that 38 car. So, hey,
would have been better to attempt that in practice, but
I
didn't think of it till qualifying.
And it's even got a Volvo service decal on the side of that Oldsmobile. Certainly a fun combination. In the pit lane, there is also a new paint scheme for Jacob Elliott. We'll take a better look at it. Well, we can take a decent look at it here while he's in the pit lane. But Jacob Elliott with a new Team 53, number 07, on the pit lane as he waits for this race to get going. Zach Millett leads us down the Mario Andretti straightaway. One more reminder about this racetrack. There is a lot of history here dating back to the 50s, the 60s. Turn number 1, oh so tough, especially when you're grouped up like this in a field where everybody.
We burned 3/10 just in the out lap. I don't think you can be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Also very, very tough, kind of a blind turn in that you come over a crest and just kind of.
I ain't taking tires the whole race.
So that corner may be the most normal on this racetrack. Kind of a more medium entry and exit speed, while turn 4 is almost flat out in these late models. Moss Corner, redesigned by Sterling Moss way back when this course was constructed. Features 3 apexes technically, if you want to get super technical about it. That fires one of the Mario Andretti straightaway into the S's Round White's quarter, where the field exits now and gets ready to get this race underway. From Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, we are green in round number.
Damn, he didn't get much of a penalty.
And Jacob Elliott did have to serve the pit lane start that blends right into the field, joining in the 4th position, so that didn't do a whole lot. That moved him back about 3 positions as Steve Singer jumps straight to the lead and takes things over in the late model stock cars. A very interesting lap number 1 with that in mind. Sean Roberts joining the field and will be pulling up on these guys here shortly. As Elliott's going to take a look here at the number 34 of Jason Nethery, somebody that we've seen a couple of times this season but haven't seen regularly.
Clear on the right.
I just backed out of that one. I don't want to go through there too wide. First lap.
On the inside, Jacob Elliott.
He's got the inside.
Inside of the 34 car and takes position into turn number 8 in the S's. Moves on by as Patrick Piper falls back. Brian McCann falls back. Mark Truxell, Leonardo Elijah. And Zach Millett, serving his drive-through penalty here on lap number 1, comes into the pit lane and will drop to the back end of the field. I believe most of the field, if not the entire field, should go on by. The only driver I'm a little bit unsure about would be Sean Roberts, but he comes by the start-finish line and into turn number 1, and sure enough, looks like Zach Millett will stay ahead.
This track is a tire eater, so I'm going a little light on the front.
Models. Meanwhile, our fight really and truly is right here.
Although tire saving has never done any good for me in this car.
Jacob Elliott will be closing in.
Kind of makes me wonder, is it even factored in to the tire wear model? Either that I just can't drive.
This guy already called us.
He came out of the pits in front of me.
What?
You see
You talking about Jacob? Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
by through turn.
I never passed him. He came out mid-pack.
6. There's Zach Millett. And somewhere back here will be Sean Roberts having some issues, I believe, with the brake pedal. Wanting to stay back and just stay out of trouble, get this race completed. Of course, his bonus points just for finishing the race. That's all he wants to do and move ahead of Jason Duckworth in the standings. Kevin McCann, though, he's got to have a bit of a different agenda. He's got to go up here and bring the fight to the number 6 car of Steve Singer. That said, of course, he doesn't have to do it just yet. You got to think about this race as a whole. There are some bonuses up for grabs, one of those being for 0x. And while Singer goes purple here, if Kevin McCann plays his cards right,
I knew I was going to hit the grass.
you sit back, maybe let Jacob Elliott go and rough up the number 6 car at some point in this race, and then try to take the spoils for himself. Time will tell there as
Trying to make an adjustment here.
the closest battle on the racetrack as, Zach Millett goes on through some late model stock traffic in Clayton Corner. That's a scary place to do it. Now the closest battle side by side here. Jason Nethery, Patrick Piper, 4th position. And Nethery tight into turn 4 gives the spot up. On the backstretch now, Brian McCann closing in on the number 34 car. And this close battle will develop. This is now for 5th position. As, of course, the 38 car of Piper went on by the 34. That happened through turn number 4.
The car coming up quick.
Brian McCann, similar to his brother, has to go for things today. He has got to be on the offensive. The fact that he's back here in 6th position right now in class, it is a problem for the number 3, as here comes the
Man, that was a good block on his part.
race leader of Zach.
He knew what I was going for.
The challenge. Zach is going to want by at the earliest convenience, but at the same time, I think we'll understand the situation here. Your points leader in late model stock sitting right in front of you. You can't get too greedy, especially given the race circumstances for Zach. He's kind of an EC class, as they call it in Champ Car endurance racing. That's basically the exception to the rule. As the driver of the number 315 certainly has been all season long. Rico,
on your right.
Piper, Nethery, and McCann all lined up. This is now 4th, 5th, and 6th. This is 100% the best racing on the racetrack, and there goes Zach.
Not sure what side he's going to go to there.
Right side now, the left side crossing over to get by Patrick Piper, and the 315 is gone. Big time speed difference down the Mario Andretti straightaway. This isn't initially a track that I had pegged as one of those tracks that the Supers would be that much better at. Excuse me, but sure enough, the Super Late model just simply hauls in these straight lines and even gets it pretty good around the corners.
I just looked at my fuel. There's no way you can make it on that fuel saving strategy.
We've talked a lot about strategy this season. We're going to be talking about it some more once the race gets properly into the mid portion of its distance, somewhere around.
I may have scared him into doing that.
That's out there. Nethery hanging on, and
I meant to scare him, but I felt like I backed out early.
a big time mistake for the Indy Autosport driver.
I wasn't going to take it too wide, but I was making him think I was going to take it too wide before we got there, and I'm thinking that may be why he got a little sideways there.
Done to number 34. I'm impressed. The late model stock brakes really saving the 34 car here. Let's ride on board and see what happened to the driver out of Indiana. Down the hill through turn 4. I'm not sure if he popped the curbing on the inside. 100% caught the curving, got loose, deep into the braking zone, hard into the tire barrier.
And them leaders are really taking off.
That bad of a hit. I'm really impressed.
Oh no.
With his ability to
That was a
kind of assess
no penalty,
his way, but also
time penalty saved there.
his ability to stop. That was really impressive. We'll take another look at it here.
Meaning I didn't lose anything from doing all that.
This is back through Quebec corner at turn number 3. And I was about to start talking about tires, because these tires, I think, will take a bit more heat here, given we've got faster corners at turns, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Look there from Nethery getting into the tire barrier. Just
It's like there's another wreck.
should have been a lot more.
Can't tell who that is.
He got lucky.
Jason, maybe?
Zach Bullitt go by.
Go quite a ways back.
Go by each of the other 2 race leaders down into turn number 8. That was aggressive, but he gets on by the number 33 and the number 6 as Steve Singer has got Kevin McCann back in his rear view mirror. These 2 for the race lead out front.
The leader just did a 1 minute 25.
Bullitt pulling over there out of turn 10, giving Singer some clean air, but also drumming right back away from the number 6 car down the front stretch. Jacob Elliott not too far back from these guys, but is kind of maintaining a distance. Not sure if that's by design or not. I was just about to start talking about tires. I think there's absolutely a case to be made here for saving tires. If you're Elliott, especially, I think save your stuff and go up there and get the race a little bit later on. Really good corner here for turn number 3 from Singer and from McCann, as they both close back into it. It's Millette who pulls back away to turn 4. Of course, the ever so anxiety-inducing turn number 5 here. 5A, 5B, 5C, Moss corner. Kevin McCann's looking really good. We gotta be honest.
Dang, Kevin's got 7 seconds on me, him and Steve.
If I'm him,
And Jacob's having to run them down. Them boys are racing.
doing, but I would really want to be saving fuel right now. Put the clutch in here, especially at a turn 8. Save a little bit. Put less fuel in at the pit stop that you know you'll have to make. You might not be able to get all the way to where you can make this a one-stop race. Certainly,
That was your fastest lap of the session.
less time in the pit lane is more time on the racetrack. Kevin McCann still in the back end here, the 6 car of Steve Singer. There's some other kind of secondary and tertiary battles throughout the field. Patrick Piper, Brian McCann, this is 4th and 5th. Further back, Mark Truxell and Leonardo Elijah. It seems like drivers are in tandems this evening. Jason Nethery on his own after his mistake a lap or so ago. 2 laps ago now, so. And I think Elliott's closing in. Yes, absolutely. Took a few tenths off that lap. We'll ride on board with car number 07. And see what he's doing to try and reel those drivers in. Meanwhile, Steve Singer's perspective is starting to get a little bit close here. Kevin McCann, I'm not sure where he's picked up damage, maybe some curving.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
And right in front of that car, ever so slightly dinged up. Looks like maybe he just ran the splitter into some curving, maybe at Moss Corner. And these two are very, very close for the race lead, lap 9 of 38. I don't know that Kevin is really thinking about saving. I think he's thinking about points. I think he wants to go get the race lead and keep it. Through turn number 5, once again, Moss Corner. You see Elliott closing in now just under a second briefly through the mid portion of the corner.
It's going to be tough to get around Patrick.
Number 33 continues to work on Steve Singer, and you see it there. Steve's aware of it. He's moving around down the front stretch. We're back.
Me and him about the same speed.
He's moving around, breaking the draft. He knows the 33 car is there. Wasn't all that aggressive, but when he had an opportunity to move to the right and break the draft for...
It's not really a second pit and get away with it.
That's important. Those small things will pile up over the course.
13 laps is thirds.
When they're this close through turn 10 even, and back around onto the front stretch, these two are going to make the highlight reel all night long. McCann sliding a little bit through turn 1, trying to get the quarter set. Oh, and really out wide there at turn 2. I think overcooked the corner a little bit, did McCann in the 33 car. Gives us just a moment to check back in on his brother, working with Patrick Piper here, 4th and 5th. Patrick Piper in the blue and yellow 38. Brian McCann in that blue number 3. Further back, Mark Truxell, Leonardo Elijah have separated by just a little bit more as our race leaders are back into Moss Corner. Very, very close territory now. Jacob Elliott with these two, making a 3-car race as they head back onto the Mario Andretti straightaway. Laps here click by pretty quickly. Also want to mention Sean Roberts has pitted as well, it looks like lap number 2. He came back into the pit lane, took a little bit of service, 4.3 seconds in the box, might have been for fuel, just to get himself to one-stop territory, as now he's been on the track for 9 laps.
Slid that one.
Contact nearly there through turns 9 and 10. Kevin McCann is all but on the number 6 car. Doesn't need a massive field of drivers to have good racing. These guys are having quality racing. This top 3, again, highlight reel all on their own. Steve Singer leading, and I wonder how much saving maybe he's trying to do at this point. Trying to stay calculated here. Doesn't want to let the pressure get to him. Kevin McCann definitely using his stuff up a bit more. Up on the curving, Kevin wants to go. The 33 car needs to get going. He wants to get going, and now Jacob Elliott added to this fight is only going to make things that much more interesting. Down the hill at turn 4 to turn number 5. Moss Corner.
Where is pit road?
Stint through the first ape.
Before the last turn.
Nearly got him in the center of the corner. That was very, very...
The 35-mile commit cone is deep.
Kevin McCann is closer to Jacob Elliott than he is to Steve Singer. This could be very interesting when they get down to turn number 8 if Elliott's able to get a draft. When you get a draft, he does not, as he is saving. You can hear it clutch in at the end of the straightaway. Very smart stuff from Jacob Elliott. That's the stuff you want to see at this point in the race. Especially as he's driven up to these guys. He's certainly got it. And here comes the number 33, lap 12, 30.
I need to not hit that curb there.
Well, that's a lap 15, but close enough. As here comes the 33 in for service.
The car behind you is pitting.
The first of the late model stops to do it, as Mark Truxell is now racing here very much with Jason Nethery. Truxell in a lap has lost 2 positions.
Oh my.
Leonardo Elijah.
Oh my, he's not going to like that.
As we still have Brian McCann into the pit lane. Jacob Elliott, of course, taking over the second spot, getting rather close here to Steve Singer. It's a 10.25, so 10.25 second pit stop for Kevin McCann. 28.6 seconds in the pit lane as a whole as he heads back out.
I just did.
So 10.2 seconds we're looking for as he runs out wide.
Now he's going to catch me back and do the same thing. I got one laptop hit anyway. So maybe I can stay in front of him for one lap.
Up front, here's your top two. Steve Singer, Jacob Elliott down the backstretch. I wonder, does Elliott save fuel again here into turn 8? Clutch in. As soon as he came over the crest, clutch in. But what's interesting about that is when he lets the clutch out, because of the way it's picking back up, he's not necessarily rev matching. It actually helps him rotate. That's not exactly realistic. You burn a clutch pretty quick, but as far as working it on iRacing, he's doing everything right. I really enjoy what the 07 car is doing right now. As he's out wide, I don't enjoy that, going out wide at turn 1, but that was pretty cool to look at. Meanwhile, third and fourth, Brian McCann, Patrick Piper. They've reversed positions now. Piper was ahead, McCann now ahead. And this makes this fight a little bit more interesting in my opinion, because now McCann's got a spot but still has pressure behind him. And still has to make up plenty of spots to those drivers ahead, one of them being his brother once pit stops cycle through. And at the same time, Jason Nethery, Leonardo Elijah, these guys
wrecked now.
They head through the first portion of this lap number 13 of 38.
How'd you do that?
The thing I did in practice.
Ooh. Everything holding for now. I'm intrigued to see when the 07 car pits.
Car on your left.
I wonder if he committed to a strategy even before the race started to save some fuel and try to run this to make it a one-stop race. They've got to get to lap 19.
5, 3, 2, 1.
And I think traditionally in an oval race, you would want to even out your runs. And this might be where some of these guys like Kevin McCann are maybe having some difficulty adjusting to the fact that it's road and you're not taking tires.
That's it, go.
But what's interesting,
just a reminder that you only have one set of left tires
is,
remaining.
as I was mentioning, on an oval, you're typically going to... It was odd. Just saw a pit time for one driver. I think, yeah, sure enough, Brian McCann just left the pit lane. It's a 11.7 second stop. So clearly Kevin saved some fuel, where Brian McCann big time overfilled, and Kevin McCann is still way behind. He has had an issue in this last lap. Oh my goodness, it's a ton of damage to the nose of the car. Hadn't even noticed that at first. But what I was trying to get at is on an oval, you would try and even out your tire runs to try and minimize time lost by tires. On a road course where you're not taking tires, it's a bit different as you see Kevin McCann dealing with
Wrecked again, I'm done.
old tires. Is way out wide there at turn 10. And it's going to do something similar here at turn number 1.
Thing just did not drive right
And this
when I went in and got fuel.
our 3
Came out and it was just tight as hell.
Did you take tire?
impact there with the wall on the inside, and Kevin McCann is back into the pit lane as we
I took lefts.
It coming around the last corner on my out lap,
pit lane. There's Patrick Piper.
just front didn't turn at all.
On a road course, you want to run as much as you can with as low of a fuel load as possible. So you want to run these tanks out.
I guess, I don't know, I guess filling up with fuel just made it balance different. And
Pieces.
I was going balls to the walls because I was in a three-way battle for the lead.
0.03 second stop for Piper.
Yeah, I saw y'all were really tight up there.
Brian McCann.
Yeah, ass the bumper,
Adjustment for me to make personally.
ass the nose.
To get you
And that's why I pitted early, because I felt like Steve was holding me up, but I just couldn't pass him.
possible, because now, to me, it looks like Steve Singer and
So I wanted to pit early and get clean air, and
yeah, it's
I ended up just wrecking.
but that's likely not the case as we've seen this season. They've got to go 3 more,
All right, I see.
more laps after this.
Later.
That's asking a lot when you're going around a 2-mile road course.
There's my buddy Patrick.
That said, though, here comes Jacob Elliott. Sure enough, he's not committed to a one-stop.
Tires went but down to 94, so
Earlier here, which is interesting.
that wasn't in territory of making it any slower.
Very interesting. Especially
Kevin might have hit that drop off when he came out of the pits, though, not taking tire.
where I think the start from pit lane almost backfires. You see Millet there leaving the pit lane as well in car 315, where I think the start from pit lane almost backfires in this particular situation is Jacob Elliott did not have to run the pace lap.
All right, man, you're back.
And he's got more fuel in the car by default. Needs less time in the pit lane, only 10.4 seconds for car 07. Not that you can see it because he started from the pit lane. Unfortunately, we won't get data. But Jason Nethery comes into the pit lane. Here comes Mark Truxell. So interesting food for thought there, I'd say. We went on Nethery's departure, no tires for the number 34 car. Tires, though, go on the 5. 12.23 seconds stop for the 34. For Truxell, will be somewhere about 21, 22 seconds. And then he'll be headed back out there. Sure enough, 21.95 seconds. Back out onto the racetrack. That leaves just Steve Singer and Leonardo Elijah yet to pit at all. And here comes Steve Singer, who will make it a two-stop race. Very close.
What happened to Leonardo? He hasn't pitted yet.
We've got a Canadian watching, Leo Cabana, in YouTube chat. This is going to be an interesting race, I think, given the fact that I think Jacob Elliott's got the leg up right now by fuel numbers alone. Where does Leonardo Elijah?
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
17, does he go an extra lap? Here he comes. Steve Singer, a 14.53 second stop, and that
Fastest lap.
coming apart. Where is Jacob Elliott?
Maybe taking tires helped.
Number 2. I think race back in
How can I run those leaders down and have a huge
it was 2 weeks ago.
lead?
Mid-Ohio Sports
Does not look like it. That's 9 seconds.
advantage.
That's a tall order.
He runs second overall now. Leonardo Elijah taking tires, much like Mark Truxell. They're the only 2 cars to do so in late model stocks. Zach Millet did take tires. And now all of those battles that we had in the first stint of the race have completed.
Ooh, I almost did it.
The only one that's close is these 2. Steve's
That was tight.
not that it's tracking to him right now because the display is mean, but it
That curb on that left side is not wide at all.
2.5 second
You get a little bit of that gravel and
as they head.
that turn is done for.
Nobody else is really even that close. As it's a new fast lap, not a 119, but a 120 from Zach Millet, who I think is playing it safe. Can't blame him. One more lap of the books now for Steve Singer, and finally this graphic will display properly. 2.4 seconds, 2.3 seconds at times. Gotta wonder how much harder he's gonna push in this run compared to the first one. How much harder is he gonna push to get back up to Jacob Elliott? And how much more fuel is that gonna use? A lot to think about as Steve Singer loses some time there through turn 3.
Cut in a little too early on that.
Straight back to the 07 car, but still plenty of racing. Not even halfway here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We're going to go Pit Stop TV side by side for a brief few moments. Be back to you before we close this race out in just a short while.
Hold on, is that Steve? I can see Steve. Surely I ain't running him down. No, can't be running him down. I think we were about a 6 last lap.
The leader just did a 1 minute 24.298.
Nah, to Steve it says 7 now, so I don't think I'm running him down. I'm actually losing Jacob as well. That's crazy. They are killing this track.
The track in the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry.
I think I'm going to take left side again.
Shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime.
You own a left tire so much more
Join the Barber
when you need it.
Club at League ID 3350 today.
Sounded like the broadcast might have been pretty good at the start, but I think everybody's fairly spread out now. Ain't really much to report on other than like lap times, if anybody's increasing or decreasing. Of course, I might be wrong. I can't hear the broadcast. Just speculating. That'd be fun to go back and watch that battle Kevin was talking about, though. I took that differently that time.
If you're ready to
I think that helped.
the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry into a raffle for a brand new Fanatec H-pattern shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime Rock Park. Join the Barber Ford Mustang Club at League ID 3350 today.
Oh, this is going to be a long 16 laps. Nobody in sight.
Welcome back to the virtual Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as we work lap 23 of 38 this evening in round number 6 of the Noble Can-Am Series. The best battle on the racetrack you've been watching.
I don't know, that time I drove it harder and it liked that a little bit better.
Elijah and Mark Truxell go on for the 6th and 7th positions, making some exciting television for sure as they get lapped by the number 315 of Zach Millett, but Leonardo Elijah a couple of times gotten pretty sideways and lost a lot of time to the number 5 car. Gonna have to keep watching these two.
Ooh, I thought I caught the grass on the left there.
Between the two drivers down the back stretch at the Mario Andretti straightaway to turn number 8 for the S's. Still lots of time left in this race, still lots of time left in this season. But it looks like Jacob Elliott's going to be making up a healthy share of points after this evening here at CTMP at Mosport. Leading the race, has been dominant since taking the race lead away. So dominant, in fact, we couldn't even load his stats because he had to start from the pit lane after winning two weeks ago.
Jacob or Steve's going to win this championship.
Iowa Sports Car Course. That put Elliott back in the 4th position as soon as he blended back onto the racetrack from the pit lane on the start.
I think Jacob's looking the best right now, points-wise.
Patrick Piper, Kevin McCann, Steve Singer, and Jacob Elliott. And he did exactly that. Not Jacob Elliott, he is Jacob Elliott, but get himself on by regardless.
I'm kind of out here just driving at this point.
This lead through the pit stops ahead of Steve Singer. Singer now has maintained very nice
I think he went to get tire.
time on the number 07 car.
Or disconnect.
Much more fuel in.
No, wait, Patrick's in a pit.
And putting himself very much behind the mark. It's a difference of, well, their margin on the racetrack, quite honestly. It's a direct result of the pit stop. Jacob Elliott, 11.9 seconds in the pit lane, or the pit box. Steve Singer, 14.5. It's a literal difference of 2.6 seconds, which is their exact gap at times. As Patrick Piper is into the pit lane once again. Early stop here from Piper. And he's taking tires, very oddly. The pit can
2 more laps and I pit.
but tires it is for the number 38 car. He goes back out. It's going to hold him up a little bit and put him behind Mark Truxell for the time being. So now on to lap number 25.
Hey Nathan, no, I haven't
Looks like his
run officials in quite a while.
Kevin McCann also done.
If I had the time, I would. I just ain't got the
The leader
time.
just did a 1 minute 24.271.
So if we can find the issue for me,
That's why I do these one a night league things.
Mark Truxell. Zach Millett had just gone on by.
To do officials, I would want to do several back to back
And we'll see if
for a certain period of time.
Kevin McCann,
Because if you just join one of those things, it's
after his issue,
either a caution fest or you get wrecked. So they're not very fun
this very well could be
in my past experience.
drop for McCann. I just hope it's not the beginning of a derailment of his season. I believe the issue for Leonardo Elijah may also have been in turn 1. I saw some recent tire marks.
Although I have had several good ones. So
Watch along for car 43 as he was just ahead of the 5 of Mark Truxell. They again were racing for 7th, I believe 6th and 7th on the racetrack. Now Truxell has 5th outright as Piper has pitted. They say that, and Piper goes by Truxell in live time. We'll get a look at that pass in just a moment, but this is the issue, it looks like, for Leonardo Elijah, potentially. Turn 1, out into the grass, and wow, heavy hit. Almost exactly what happened to Kevin McCann. Got out wide through the corner and lost control of the number 43. Here's an onboard. Out wide, boom, concrete barrier, race over for the number 43 car.
Got about 5 laps.
Then, just a couple of moments ago, we had a pass between Mark Truxell and Patrick Piper. It looks like it happened right there down the front stretch into turn number 1. Here's a look at it. Piper in the blue and yellow 38. They've now swapped positions once again, where Truxell is back ahead. So they are all over the place, having some good fighting. Here's the initial pass from Piper on Truxell. Then Piper into the grass, hangs on to it, comes back over across the racetrack into turn 2, and way out there.
I wish I knew these tracks better.
This car, what a catch by Patrick Piper. If we come back to live
Last time I raced on this one was a long time ago, truck racing.
cars, down the front stretch, wrapping up there, lap 25, I believe.
And fixed.
Now on to lap 26. The leaders are on lap 27. Sean Roberts is still in the race, one lap down now to the race leader. Here's the onboard for Patrick Piper as he continues to try and work back up to Mark Truxell. Clutch in through turn 3. Struggling to get it back in gear. I don't know that that was intentional. I think that was a missed shift. And suddenly that fight has come back apart.
3, 2, 1. Right here.
So a big mistake for the 38 car. He falls back now 2.5 seconds.
Oh, I thought that said 70. I'm 87 on my right
Jason
front.
Nethery. Those 3 cars in a line. Pit stop, Brian
All right,
McCann
that's it.
in the
Go.
pit lane. The one McCann left with us this
There are no
evening while
remaining
taking
left-side
service,
tires
taking
to the
tires along with it. I'm surprised these guys are going for tires, but I did also theorize earlier on, or at least started to before some drama happened, that we may see tire stops for the late model stocks as this is a faster course, older pavement. Higher forces on the tires could result in higher wear. And, well, I think we're seeing that this evening. Brian McCann back on the racetrack, 11.97 seconds. I think that was a 2-tire stop. As far as the Steve Singer situation, he's still about now 3.5 seconds behind Jacob Elliott and losing time. I wonder if maybe he's switched into a different mode from push to save.
Have mercy, Zach.
Coming up quick.
Yeah, he's gonna get me. Perfect timing.
Those issues for McCann and Elijah leave us with just 8 cars on the racetrack. Some 11 laps to go. As Brian McCann goes 1 lap down to our overall race leader, Zach Millett. And what we're going to do here, as Zach Millett continues to turn laps, is go silent on the mic and go sounds of the sim. And just listen in.
How did Steve Zinger get 36 in front of me? Oh, he hasn't pitted yet. He pitted 12 laps ago. It only takes 35. Oh, God. Oh, I missed the turn.
We have 10 to go this time by.
That's a lap on board with Zach Millett.
Ooh, that was a bad lead. Scrape on the curb.
No competition. But during that lap, there was an issue for one Mark Truxell. Here's a look at it.
Car centered out on it.
Turn 2.
The car behind you is pitting.
Out wide. Missed his mark, and that's scary. Wow. Props to Patrick Piper for missing that spun car in a very, very scary section of the racetrack. Here's everything leading up to it, about the previous minute leading into that moment.
I didn't break that last bit right.
Pit stops now happening live. Jason Nethery and Mark Truxell into the pits. Now here is the onboard from Patrick Piper. It's going to happen in turn 2. Here's turn 9. So you see he's trying to run that green, black, and white car back down. That's Mark Truxell in the 5. Getting closer and closer at every corner. Piper, of course, taking brand new tires at his pit stop recently. For turn 1 on the curves. Again, trying to make everything he can back up on anybody he can. Truxell, though, a bit wide in the corner. And wow. Truxell now fresh out of the pit lane, 8.17 seconds for his pit stop time. Jason Nethery, meanwhile, 23.82. And Nethery now gives that spot back up to Mark Truxell. Truxell taking over 5th in class as they have fallen behind Sean Roberts, who is into turn number 8 in an all-black number 66 for the first time this season. It may be a strategy switch for Steve Singer, as he has really toned things down, now falling back to 5 seconds nearly behind Jacob Elliott. Could he be trying to save fuel and extend this run? I don't know.
Leader is outrunning me.
But he did pick
Big time.
Jacob Elliott. So if anybody's going to do it, he's got the best opportunity. Don't think he is. I'll be clear. I really don't think he is, but I think he might have thought about it once or twice, and it certainly... It would be my first explanation as to why he's slowed down, but he's not putting the clutch in anywhere so far in this lap. I really don't think he's saving. I think Jacob Elliott just has this field covered. Last corner, no saving there. The telltale sign of the turn number 8. As Zach Millett is into the pit lane. Does Singer put the clutch in here at the end of the Mario Andretti straightaway? That will be the telltale sign. Jacob Elliott was doing it earlier. Survey says... absolutely not.
The leader is pitting now.
Just an off day for the number 6 car, it seems.
Not a good break on that one.
Into the pit
The guy in
lane.
front, he's pitting.
As we run on to lap 32, Singer will stay out.
I just went ahead and almost come to stop. I thought it was going off the track.
Just ahead of Sean Roberts. Albeit by a
But I straightened it out and put more brake into it.
Here's Elliott into the pit lane. Should be a short stop. Counting the seconds, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, 8 seconds exactly. 8.0 is what ATVO says. 8.0 seconds for Jacob Elliott as he heads back onto the racetrack. That puts him still second. You can believe it. Brian McCann pitted 5 laps ago and is 20 seconds behind Jacob Elliott. Wow. That leaves Steve Singer yet to come into the pit lane. This time by, it'll be 6 laps to go for the number 6 car.
There's my tire marks.
The number 315 actually, as he goes on by the flags.
I got a little gravel there.
Into the pit lane.
Maybe back that corner up a little bit more.
I hope it's a short amount of time. I hope he doesn't speed.
leader is
That was
pitting now.
close. I really do hope Steve finds a way here to shorten his stop time.
Car 6 has taken the lead.
He comes into his box. We'll watch the timer here for the number 6 car. 8 seconds to beat. Rolls away. 7.65. May have beat it. But he's not going to take the race lead back away from Jacob Elliott. Elliott already in the turn number 2. Far away ahead of the number 6. It's just one of those days. Mark Truxell, meanwhile, has recently been caught by the 34 car, and these guys are just ahead of Jacob Elliott on the racetrack. Nethery closing in. 6 laps to go. Going to be a fun little fight for positions 5 and 6 in class, 7 and 8 overall. There's Truxell, there's Nethery closing in as Zach Millett goes quickest.
Hey, Muggs, how's it going?
Closing in some more. Everybody has made their final pit stop, I believe. The only driver I'm questionable about is Sean Roberts. He pitted very early, I think lap 2. May have to pit again still. And watch the race leader coming up. Jacob Elliott in the 07 into the same picture now as Nethery and Truxell. That's going to put some pressure on these two as they will face going a lap down to their class leader. Good to see Kevin Shiftwright in the YouTube chat as we work into the evening hour, the golden hour here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Still plenty of racing left to go this season. We can take a look at it all as we have just a moment to do so. We started way back at Homestead Miami Speedway on June 11th. We've still got Road Atlanta, Sonoma, Long Beach left on the calendar. We'll rejoin the series in just about a month at Sonoma Raceway on September 10th. And continuing on for the season finale on September 24th at Long Beach Street Circuit. These two, though, are fighting again for the 5th and 6th spots on the racetrack in late model stock class.
The race is somewhere on the track.
With brand new tires.
See it on the broadcast.
And the race leader has closed in. That's Jacob Elliott just behind. How does he get by these two? Pulls to the right side. Nethery, though, goes to the inside. He wants to challenge the number 5 of Mark Truxell and does so through turn number 1. That holds up Elliott ever so slightly, too wide in front of him. Where is he going to go? He's got time to spare. Steve Singer, 4.5 seconds back. Elliott can breathe in this situation, and he does. Moves now to the outside of Mark Truxell. Can't get by him yet, though. I think we'll finally have him here in turn 4. He'll be on the inside. We'll finally be able to get the position on the 5 car. Sure enough, puts Mark Truxell 1 lap down in class. How does Elliott approach the 34 car, though? And a little bit wide. Singer closed it about a half second, maybe a little more, but just losing it once again. And Singer on old tires now, I think, realizing he had to go for old tires just in case Elliott got caught up in a situation like this or made a mistake. But I still don't think it's going to be worth a whole lot, as Jacob is going to push here to turn number 8 and gets the go-ahead from Jason Nethery to go on by. I think Nethery realizing how that situation played out for the race leader and trying to play nice there. There'll be 3 laps to go, this time by the flag stand.
Millett's going to lap me.
Steve Singer did close in a little bit, but it's not going to be enough unless something else happens. 3.5 seconds now the gap with 3 laps to go. Unless, of course, Elliott mismanaged fuel and has to come back in or has to slow down to try and save. Otherwise, keep in mind, Singer now has to come up on the Truxell and have the refight, and that's not going to be easy getting by those two after we just saw Elliott get hung up. These closing laps here at Mosport, a big shout out to Sean Roberts. Doesn't have to be out here this evening. Does not have to be racing. He's having pedal issues. Certainly doesn't have to be going through all that, but is still out here. I think Sean knew kind of the outcome we have for a while. Zach Millett in a super late model against the rest of these guys, he's just unbeatable so far, aside from Watkins Glen when Spencer Torrance went to victory lane amid a pit penalty for Zach Millett. Otherwise, the 315 have won every single race, and I think we'll continue to do that. He's just that good. Sean Roberts doesn't have to be out here. He's choosing to spend his Sunday evenings in the car that he signed up for, trudging on through it when so many others won't. I just want to recognize that. It's a very difficult car to drive, especially for an hour on a road course like this. And Sean keeps on going. He's still out here with these guys. It is so, so appreciated. Meanwhile, as far as the points battle in late model stocks, as we take the white flag presented by Whiplash SimCams, as Zach Millett goes by the flag stand. Our late model stock points fight between Elliott, Singer, and the two McCanns, while Kevin McCann is going to lose a good bit out of this evening. I do hope that we have the drop.
That's one way to do it.
Going ahead to Road Atlanta and Sonoma.
Just drift it out.
Regardless, though, this is going to hurt Kevin McCann, even if it is his drop. It's going to hurt that 33 car. He needed a good night this evening, needed to make some points up. Didn't do so. He's out of the race, dead last of the 10 drivers that made it to this evening's race. Jacob Elliott takes the white flag this evening, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. And is off and away to yet another race win. It's going to be a hefty penalty, though, when they unload in a couple of weeks' time at Road Atlanta. All while Zach Millett fires into turn number 8 and will once again claim a victory in Super Late Models. Drifting through the final corners, showing that this guy has got this car on lock. Victory for car 315. We've gotten used to saying that. Jacob Elliott, though, has to still execute these last few corners. He's got a large gap, 6 seconds back to Steve Singer, but that doesn't guarantee anything. That's last few corners. And all the 07 has to do.
I was going for a hot lap there.
Doing this. If the drop week gets figured in,
I was going to try to get a 123. I don't know if I got one this session yet or not.
For the season standings. Nobody really
A little too late on that braking.
gets figured in and points are adjusted. But something tells me the 07 car is not out of the championship fight with Brian McCann and Steve Singer, who finished second and third this evening. It's a victory for the 07 yet again. Victory lane for car number 07, Jacob Elliott at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. There goes Jason Nethery, Mark Sharpsell in 5th and 6th, and then Steve Singer in the 2nd spot. Brian McCann will finish this evening from 3rd in car number 3. Certainly an improvement from the 6th place that he was in earlier.
That was not my fastest lap of the session.
And stifling the gains of the cars behind him.
Great job, driver.
Congratulations, as always, to Zach Millett. And really, congratulations as always to every driver finishing this evening. Let's take a look at tonight's
I guess we can go back and see what happened to Kevin.
32 laps led there for Millett. Didn't lead them all. Jacob Elliott, 2nd place this evening.
He already had his first accident there, so he had it back to back.
Steve Singer goes 3rd overall, 2nd in class. Brian McCann, 3rd in class.
Oh, he hit there. He did that in practice, and he said not to do that again.
The untimely exits.
Yeah, he came out and hit that grass. You just
Going to be oh so
cannot hit it there.
in the season standings, but a big time win for the 315 and even bigger time
So that
win
was
for the
his
7 of Jacob Elliott. A very, very
No, I think he
to him coming
whatever lap he
next
pitted
week
on.
in Miami in week number 1
messed up going into the pits.
to try to win this championship.
This lap maybe.
If you only have one drop week, like we believe, and you use that drop week,
Let's ride on board. I want to
it
see what
makes
they were doing.
everything that much more difficult. But he has been perfect almost since then. 1 at Lime Rock, 1 at Mid-Ohio, 1 here this evening at Mosport. That is
Man, killing that left front.
This is only 5 of them. Was he in?
I guess I wasn't using enough tire.
And we're Montreal, where Kevin McCann, I believe, won. It was
Killing her right.
2 McCanns. And Watkins Glen, where Steve Singer went to McCann.
Yeah, I just got bad habits of tire saving, and you just unless it's showing different on my screen, they are using their tires a lot more than I was.
Who, upon his undeafening in Discord, we'll get a word with as this evening's late model stock race winner. There he is, Jacob Elliott, yet another win for you. And this is now 3 in 5 races that you've been able to make. We don't know when the drop week will get figured in, but it's looking pretty good for the 07 car once it is.
Yeah, I know. I just want to give a big shout out to Ryan Nardone. Who's
I don't know. This sound may not be right.
he helped me get through that traffic, put together, and it ended up working out pretty well, considering I had that penalty. But even with that penalty, it dropped me right.
He was turning to 124.5 this last lap.
Pretty nice.
And I believe the next penalty is going to be a drive-through penalty when we unload in 2
So
weeks.
wait a minute. Did I run the
Road
fastest
Atlanta,
lap?
which is a whole different game. That really puts you behind big time.
He might pit here.
You try to overcome that in 2 weeks.
Oh, I guess he's gonna pit next lap.
Drive fast. So yeah, that's going to be a huge penalty to try and overcome.
Yeah.
But I mean, just got to use that right foot a little bit more and try and make up some time.
He made it in.
This paint scheme as well, something new for you over there at Team 50
That didn't look bad. He said he messed that up.
earlier today. Tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Surely he didn't mess up
So I'm in
exit.
another league, and
No, he came back home.
let's just say it was kind of a rough week there. So we kind of dubbed the nickname Born to Kill and decided to put on a paint job and
This turning.
run it.
Oh, he messed up.
Run it in this one.
Oh, he messed up 2 spots. So coming out of that last turn,
It's going to pan out from here until we see the points, but
but he saved it.
congratulations once again, Jacob, getting a whole lot closer to coming
This might have been where he came over the radio and told me about it,
McCann and Steve
and
Sick.
then wrecked right after that.
Best of luck as we go on these next few races. 3 to go. We're looking pretty good in Colorado 7.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I can talk to you next week. And yeah, once that drop gets figured out, I think I'm going to be sitting pretty well.
You hate to see
There you
it.
go, Jacob Elliott.
All right, I'm out. Later.
Stock car winner.